Robert Downey Jr. is today recognized around the world as Iron Man, the charismatic genius billionaire Tony Stark, who became the heart of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Millions of fans admire his wit, charm, and screen presence, but few realize the extraordinary, turbulent journey that took him from being a Hollywood prodigy to the edge of ruin and back again. His life is a story of immense talent, self-destruction, and incredible resilience. A story that resonates deeply because it is as real as it is remarkable. Born on April 4, 1965 in Manhattan, New York City, Robert Downey Jr. entered a world steeped in film and performance. His father, Robert Downey Sr., was an avant-garde filmmaker known for experimental and offbeat films, while his mother, Elsie, worked as an actress. From the very beginning, Robert was immersed in the world of acting and creativity. He appeared in his father's films as early as age 5, demonstrating a natural charm and talent that would later captivate audiences worldwide. But while the arts flourished in his household, his childhood was far from ideal. From a very young age, Robert was exposed to substances that would haunt him for decades. Shockingly, when he was just 6 years old, his father gave him marijuana. For most children, this would have been an unfathomable act. Yet in the chaotic world of Hollywood's offbeat experimental circles, it seemed almost normalized. This early exposure planted the seeds of a lifelong struggle with addiction. By the time Robert was a teenager, drugs and alcohol were already ingrained in his daily life. The divorce of his parents when he was 13 added another layer of instability, forcing him to move frequently between New York and California and navigate a world without the stability that most children take for granted. Despite these personal challenges, Robert continued to pursue acting, attending different schools and programs, although he often found himself distracted or derailed by his growing substance use. Even amidst this instability, his talent shone brightly. In the 1980s, he began landing roles in films that showcased his unique charisma and acting ability. He appeared on Saturday Night Live, though the short-lived experience did not bring him lasting recognition. His first major breakthrough came with films like Weird Science in 1985 and Less Than Zero in 1987, where he played a rich, addicted young man. Many critics noted the disturbing realism he brought to the role. A young actor whose life on screen mirrored his own struggles off-screen. Despite the chaos in his personal life, Robert was quickly becoming one of Hollywood's most talented young actors. His breakthrough into serious critical acclaim came in 1992 with the film Chaplin, in which he portrayed the legendary Charlie Chaplin. His performance earned him an Academy Award nomination and solidified his reputation as one of the most promising actors of his generation. At this point, it seemed that Robert Downey Jr.'s star was on a meteoric rise. He was talented, charming, and on the verge of becoming a household name. But while his career soared, his personal life was deteriorating rapidly. Throughout the 1990s, Robert's struggles with addiction became more severe and public. He faced repeated arrests for possession of cocaine, heroin, and marijuana. Media outlets began to cover his erratic behavior extensively, and Hollywood studios started to view him as unreliable. One notorious incident occurred in 1996 when police pulled him over for speeding and discovered not only drugs but also a gun in his car. A few months later, under the influence, he broke into a neighbor's house and fell asleep in their bed, another shocking headline that made him seem like a cautionary tale of talent wasted. Despite multiple stints in rehab and several second chances, Robert kept relapsing. He spent nearly a year in jail and was often in and out of courtrooms, drug treatment centers, and hospitals. By the late 1990s, the actor who had once been celebrated for his charm and brilliance was widely regarded as Hollywood's cautionary tale, a man whose talent had been overshadowed by addiction and instability. Studios avoided casting him, fearing he would disrupt to production schedules or fail to show up entirely. It seemed that Robert Downey Jr. might never recover, not just in terms of his career, but in life itself. But what makes Robert's story extraordinary is that he refused to give up. In the early 2000s, after hitting rock bottom more times than most people could imagine, Robert began to fight back. A key turning point came when he met Susan Levin, a film producer, who would later become his wife. They met while filming Gothica in 2003, and she gave him a simple ultimatum. He would have to get sober before she could consider marrying him. For Robert, who had tried and failed so many times before, this was the moment that demanded serious commitment. He accepted the challenge, and they married in 2005. Susan became his anchor, offering stability, guidance, and unwavering support that he had never had before. In addition to the support of Susan, Robert incorporated discipline into his life through meditation, therapy, and martial arts. He trained in Wing Chun Kung Fu, which not only kept him physically fit, but also helped him focus and regain mental clarity. Most importantly, he committed himself fully to sobriety. Unlike past attempts, this time he was determined to rebuild his life, step by step. Even with his personal life stabilizing, Hollywood was slow to forgive. His reputation as the most talented actor who had destroyed his career followed him, and studios remained wary of casting him. Slowly, however, he began to remind audiences and filmmakers why he had been so celebrated in the first place. In 2005, his performance in Kiss Kiss Bang Bang reintroduced him to the public, showcasing the charm, wit, and undeniable talent that had always been his hallmark. Then came the role that would change everything: Tony Stark in Iron Man. Many executives were hesitant to hire him, fearing the risk his past represented. Director Jon Favreau, however, insisted that Robert was the only actor who could truly embody Stark, a brilliant, flawed, and charismatic genius who carries his own demons. Favreau's insistence paid off. When Iron Man hit theaters, Robert's performance became a cultural phenomenon. He was charismatic, funny, vulnerable, and confident all at once, and audiences immediately connected with him. The success of Iron Man not only resurrected Robert Downey Jr.'s career, but also established him as the cornerstone of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Over the next decade, he starred in numerous blockbusters, including the Avengers series, Iron Man sequels, and Avengers Endgame, becoming one of the highest-paid actors in the world. From a man who had once spent nights in jail, struggling with addiction and public humiliation, he rose to earn tens of millions of dollars per film and secure a legacy in pop culture history. What makes Robert's story resonate so deeply is not just the fame or wealth he achieved, but the humanity behind his journey. He openly discusses his struggles, admitting past mistakes and failures without shying away from them. He became an inspiration for those battling addiction and personal demons, showing that recovery is possible and that second chances, when truly embraced, can lead to incredible transformation. Robert Downey Jr.'s life is also a lesson in timing, support, and resilience. Meeting the right people, like Susan Levin, gave him the emotional grounding he needed. Committing to disciplined practices like martial arts and meditation gave him structure. Most crucially, his own determination to change and take responsibility for his life made all the difference. He transformed not just professionally, but personally, becoming a better partner, father, and public figure. Looking back, his journey can almost feel like a movie plot itself. A gifted child actor introduced to drugs at age 6, rising to fame in the 1980s, hitting rock bottom with public arrests and jail time, and finally rising to become one of the most beloved and respected actors in modern cinema. His story touches on universal themes: the fragility of talent, the dangers of addiction, the power of love and support, and the potential for redemption even in the darkest moments. Even today, Robert Downey Jr. is admired not just for the characters he plays on screen, but for the real-life courage he demonstrated off-screen. His story inspires older and younger audiences alike, showing that failures do not define a person, and that with commitment, support, and self-belief, it is possible to reclaim one's life and legacy. For fans of all ages, but particularly for those who remember his early films and public struggles, Robert Downey Jr. embodies hope, resilience, and the idea that no matter how far you fall, it is never too late to rise again. His transformation from a child introduced to drugs to a troubled young star to a jail-bound adult and finally to a global icon is a tale that continues to captivate and inspire. It is a reminder that even the most broken paths can lead to triumphs beyond imagination. Robert Downey Jr.'s journey is not just about Hollywood stardom. It is about human perseverance, the power of redemption, and the extraordinary capacity to rebuild life against all odds. From every angle, his story is a masterclass in resilience. It encourages viewers to confront their own challenges and believe in the possibility of change. His life's narrative, filled with highs, lows, failures, and triumphs, is perfect for anyone seeking real-life stories that inspire and motivate. Robert Downey Jr. is living proof that talent, when paired with determination and support, can overcome even the most overwhelming